Okay, our last page here is now what the derivatives of the arcsine, arctangent, and arcsecant are. These are the most common up here. But essentially, what we're going to do is basically it's remembering what each of these are. Okay, and I want you to look here. If you know the arcsine, the arc cosine is very much the derivative of that is very simple because what is it? It's just the opposite of it. Just like if this is the arctangent, the arc cotangent is exactly the same, but there's a negative. Okay? All right. So if you look at this one, we just have to know the derivative of the arcsine of u is equal to u prime over root 1 minus u squared. So if we know this one, its derivative goes up top, square root of 1 minus that value squared on the bottom. Okay. I'm going to hold off and do the derivation of this in class next time. Okay. So if you look at this one, our u value, according to from what's up top, our u is just equal to x squared minus 1. The derivative of that is 2x. So what I'm going to do is now I'm just going to plug those values in, and this is one of the reasons why the book in the other day had you doing that substitutions. It makes it a little bit easier here. So what is the derivative of this? Well, u prime goes on top, which is 2x. And then on the bottom, it's 1 plus x squared minus 1 squared, and that is the derivative of it. Okay, I'm not going to simplify. We're just going to leave it as that. Okay? So it's basically plug and chug. All right? So let's look at this one. I want to note that that is really equal to x to the 2/5 power. It's important to note that. That's what our u value is. What is the derivative of that? Is 2/5 x to the negative 3/5. So we got to make sure we understand that of where everything is going to go. So this is a derivative of the arcsine. So I'm going to use this one. So that is equal to u prime up top, which is 2/5 x to the negative 3/5. And then what's on the bottom is the square root of 1 minus that, the original argument squared. So what is that? That becomes x to the 4/5. Okay? So if I were to simplify that, there's nothing I can do with this bottom, but this really simplifies to 2. Put the 5 on the bottom, put the u to the 3/5 there, and then it's a square root of 1 minus x. I'm sorry. It's an x to the 3/5. And 1 minus x to the 4/5 power under the radical. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and differentiate the arcsecant. So in this case, what is our argument? Our argument is 3x squared. What's its derivative? Is 6x. Okay, so the arcsecant, I'm just going to plug it into that formula. Okay, and what is that? Well, arcsecant u prime goes up top. So this is equal to 6x, and the bottom is the absolute value of u, which is 3x squared, and it's u, and then it's the square root of 9x to the 4th minus 1. Okay? All right, well, I do want you to look at this, because there's an absolute value around it. This is always right, but I want to point out, since this is squared, this will always be positive. So in this case, on this one, you could simplify it to, I have 3x squared here times root 9x to the 4th minus 1. Could we simplify further? Sure. I could get it as 2x over, just 2 over x root 9x to the 4th minus 1. But we got to make sure we note that x cannot equal 0 once I cancel that. Okay? Ooh, couldn't see that. All right? So I just simplified this. All right, my last one is this one. And it's an arcsine, so I'm going to use the top one again. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see that. All right. So our u value is equal to 2x squared minus 1. What's du equal to? I'm just going to take its derivative, is 4x. So what is f prime equal to, which is the derivative of that? Well, u prime goes up top, so I get 4x is on top. What's on the bottom is the square root of 1 minus 2x squared minus 1 squared. And that's it. So on these, when you're asked to find the derivatives of them, is you're just plugging those in. Okay? Now, when you did the previous problems, I did want to point out you have to draw the picture first. Okay? You're going to draw the picture first, then find these. So this one, it was draw the picture first, find the values. Okay? All right. That should do it. Thank you very much.